Hello, Top Coder Universe. We are back for another education series talk. This is the development workshop, and I am here with a member who's been to 5 TCOs. His name is Akinwale, and he is from Nigeria. How's it going, Akinwale?
Pretty good, thanks. How are you?
And I'm doing good. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is going to be great. This is going to be a good talk for a lot of the members that may be new to the platform, maybe even future members that you're going to be talking to. So Akinwale has been around the Top Coder community for a long time, and probably has some tips for you to use when you are participating in a challenge. And there are a lot of different types of challenges in the development track, but we will get to that later. First off, let's do a little background, little introduction on with Akinwale. So Akinwale, you have been a member for how long?
About 10 years now. I joined in 2007, okay. So that's about 10 years.
Awesome. And did you start in like a particular track? Like what brought you to Top Coder? What kept you at Top Coder? You know, how was it interesting for you to just want to keep competing?
Okay, so first I started with the Google Code Jam. So that was like an algorithm contest being hosted by Top Coder at the time. So I discovered the algorithm track where I had to compete, and it was a bit difficult, and I saw my ratings go lower and lower, and
No.
I wasn't really. I got some problems correct, but most of them were very difficult. So I didn't really have much interest in that. But then I discovered the development track and the assembly tracks, which I saw the prices involved in those, which were very encouraging. So I decided to participate in those. So I got started with that as well. And I think I even got my first win about 2 months into my membership, and that was really exciting. You know, yeah.
How many challenges? Because I get this question a lot, and you know, for a lot of people, they come to me and they're like, "Oh, well, you know, what if I participate in a challenge and I don't win anything?" Like, how many challenges did you have to participate in before, like, you placed and won a prize?
So for development, so like I started with algorithm, I didn't win anything in there, so it was
right.
just, you know,
that's for practice.
That's not my, yeah. So yeah, that's practice. Then I discovered the development. I think it took about 3 or 4 contests or challenges before I got my second prize. So my first win was actually a second prize,
okay.
On the Java application. So it took about like 3, 4 challenges before I finally got a prize in the contest.
So what kept you motivated? Because I feel like some people would be like, I'm gonna participate in 1 or 2 challenges, and then I'm, you know, if I don't win, then I just give up. So what kept you going?
Yeah, so obviously the prize money, like, you know, I saw the prizes out before 2008 that they were very encouraging prizes. So you know, there were lots of challenges then. So it was really exciting to, you know, let me get something. I'm motivated to actually win something and see my name on the scoreboard, that sort of thing. So that's what motivated me. So I had to get first or second place, and you know, that's what kept me going until I got my first second place in that contest.
Awesome. Well, that's really cool. Like again, you said you've been here around 10 years. Like, I'm sure you've seen the evolution of Top Coder over all that time.
Yes. Good and bad, yeah.
exactly. And you actually are going to be joining us in about a few weeks now. Oh my gosh, it's already coming up, October, at the TCO 17 finals, right?
Yeah, sure, definitely.
And you're competing, right? Is that right?
Yes, I am. The first to finish track.
First to finish, all right. And you were a champion 1 year, right? A first to finish?
Yeah, 2014, yes.
In 2014, that's awesome. All right, so new members, you're going to get some great information today. Akinwale is going to walk you through basically how to compete on the Top Coder platform, what to look out for, tips and tricks, things like that. So to get us started, as I mentioned before, we have in the development track different types of competitions. Can you go through those competitions and, you know, tell us the differences between them and, you know, and I guess what they mean to you in that sense?
Okay. Should I start with before the changes or after, like before the acquisition by Aperio or
Uh,
current challenge?
Current, yeah, the current
So
challenges.
currently we have the code challenges, we have the assembly challenges, and we have the first to finish. So I'll start with first to finish. Basically, first to finish is where the challenge where you have to submit first, and the first person submission wins. So it's about being able to submit early, being able to submit quickly, being able to solve the problem quickly, and getting the problem correctly the first time. Or you can submit multiple times, but the first person to get it right wins the prize. So that's first to finish. The code challenge and the assembly challenge, they're a bit similar, but the thing is, the assembly challenge has some extra phases involved. So the code challenge, you go through the registration phase, submission phase, and the review phase, and an appeals phase, while the first to finish involves a final fix phase. So that's just the major difference between those two challenge types, but they're quite similar in that you have a requirement specification, you have to develop what's on the requirement specification, and then submit your implementation for review
Okay.
on subcoder, basically.
So basically, like what you were saying is that if you were to participate in a code challenge, you would first register for that challenge. There's a button on the details page to do that.
Yes.
And then you would then submit. You would have a submission phase.
You read the requirement specification and ask questions in that process, trying to clarify requirements, and then submit before the deadline.
And where would a member go to submit questions if they have any?
Yeah, so they go to the challenge forum. So basically, when you register, you see a link on the challenge page that takes you to the challenge forum. So you click on that, and you can ask questions in the forums in there.
Okay, I was actually going to try to pull it up real quick to see if we could just show people how that would work.
It's a bit slow, so.
Oh yeah, no problem. So, okay, great. And what's the difference between code and assembly? You said final fixes?
Yeah, so the assembly involves an extra phase, which is final fixes. So basically, after the review phase, the reviewers might find problems that you need to fix in your submission.
Mm-hmm.
So with code, after the final appeals phase, you don't have to do anything after that. But for the assembly challenge, you still need to fix those problems that the reviewers find in your application. So once you fix that, they'll do it. There's going to be a final review, and then once it's accepted, then you can close the challenge itself. So that's just the difference. So there's a final fix phase, there's a final review phase, and then there's an approval phase for the assembly challenges. But the code challenge stops at the final appeals phase, appeal response phase.
Okay, and
so that's just a major.
What would be the reason someone would appeal?
Yeah. Okay. So basically, reviewers are human, so they might find some errors, or they might. So there might be some mistakes in their review or that sort of thing. So you can also always appeal those mistakes, or you can always try to clarify in the forums where if the challenge requirements, if the requirements are vague, for example, you can try to clarify that in the forums and then submit your appeal based on that. So basically, if there are mistakes in your review, or if you need to clarify anything, or if there's a new requirement that was introduced by the reviewer, for example, you need to be able, you are able to appeal that and then submit that in your appeals phase.
Okay, great. And I actually pulled up a challenge here, just so that we can kind of show people who haven't visited this page yet. So this is an example of a challenge that is actually currently ongoing. It's in the registration phase, and you see that has about 4 days left. So,
yeah.
I could read through this. I could read what they are requiring. So this is the specifications, essentially. It lets you know what the technologies are being used. And if I wanted to register for this challenge, I see there are 33 registrants already, which is kind of cool. $1,200 for first place, $600 for second. So I'm going to click this register for the challenge. And it looks like that there are required steps to take. So have you run into this, Akinwale?
So that's a one-time thing. So you need to verify your NDA
Uh-huh.
to be able to register for that. So once you do that once, you don't need to do it again. So I think you've not done that before.
Yeah.
That's why
I don't participate in too many challenges.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can read through it and agree, I guess. It's fine. For the sake of this, I can sign it later. That's fine. I'll come back later. But yes, so some challenges, not all challenges, right, require an NDA.
Yeah. Yes.
But you should also make sure you read through that and understand what you're signing. Just don't go willy-nilly like I did. Because there are certain, rules in there about, the code that you are going to be, working with potentially. So this one, this is an ideation. I was able to just register for that one. I didn't need an NDA. So that's just another example right here.
I think you might need to page.
What's that?
So you might need to refresh the page because the challenge forum link is not showing up. Yeah.
And we'll refresh it. Huh.
Still not there.
Yeah. That's well, this is fun. Yeah, this stuff always happens when we go live, huh? Some other things to keep an eye out for, I believe. If you're interested in top coder in earning top coder points, you will see under eligible events. You will see we're already into next year's Top Coder Open leaderboards. Do you want to talk about that a little bit, Akinwale? Like, participating challenges that are TCO eligible. What does that mean?
Okay. So basically, the Top Coder Open is an annual event where you fly to the US to participate in on-site finals. So that happens every year. So there are challenges that are eligible for the Top Coder Open. That's for qualification. So you need to check the rules to see how you can qualify. So in the challenges you participate, you can get points to get on the leaderboard. So I think it's usually the first 2 or 3 participants in the period that have the most points in the period.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the period is usually like 2-3 months at a time that gets to advance to the finals, on-site finals. So it's available for different tracks. You have development, you have first to finish, I think you have studio design as well, and all of that. So you have all the tracks in there. So it's all the marathon, algorithm, and so forth. So there are different rules for the different tracks, but basically you can compete in the competitions, and then you can gain points and get on the leaderboard to be able to get to the top 3 and be able to travel to the US for the finals.
Right. And like we mentioned before, not all challenges are TCO eligible. So if that's something that you're really striving for, really wanting to participate in, make sure you see that eligible events, that it's in there. And I just brought up really quick the TCO 17 website. Oh, look who's there. Mr. Akinwale himself, right on the homepage of TCO 17. Lots of information here, how to compete, the prizes that are given out, the trips. So lots of information, tco17.topcoder.com. We talk about regional events, sponsors, and we already have the on-site agenda of what's going to happen at the actual competition. Pretty cool stuff. Let's bounce back over to the challenge details page. If you could, for us, please, on the right side.
I think,
okay.
Sorry, you could check your email for the challenge forum link. I think it's supposed to show up on the right side, but it's not showing up right now. So.
Okay, yeah, I see it right here. My email.
There. Yeah.
So you'll receive an email when you register, right? And it says that you have access to the challenge forum, which is the link that we were trying to find earlier. And we could click there to find that. Okay, so it looks like there's questions in the forums already.
Yeah.
Or something in here. It can be assumed as such documents. Okay, cool. And then so typically the co-pilot would respond, right, to your answers?
Yes. So basically, you can have if you have questions, you can. So it's good to ask questions early. So it's good to start early so you can clarify things before the deadline. There's a deadline for submission, so you should start asking questions as quickly as possible. and the co-pilots will provide answers, or the project manager will also provide answers as well, if the co-pilot can answer the question.
Okay. Yeah, that's a really good tip right there. You don't want to save your questions to the end because that,
Yeah, there's a deadline.
Yeah, there's a deadline, and also co-pilots and other people are in different time zones, so they might not be in the same time zone as you. So you might, the answer to your question might not be answered right away. So keep that in mind. That's a very good tip. So bouncing back to the details page, do you want to kind of talk about this right side panel, like downloads? This one currently doesn't have anything in it, but what types of things could they expect in this download section?
So, usually you can get the requirements documents in like a PDF format. You can get if there's a UML diagram for the architecture document, the UML diagram showing the classes involved, like you have to build, and some other things related to the challenge as well. Then I think you can expand the view deadlines just to have like an overview just at the top there. There's a view all deadlines just to have sure. So you can see when you have to submit reach done. So you just an overview of the deadlines for the submission and the registration phases.
Okay, awesome.
Then I think it also shows the scorecard. You can see the scorecard as being used. And
So this one's a simple one.
Yeah, that's a simple one. Yes.
Let's find one that actually has a little more content to it. So if we go to another code, let's say this one. This one has a nice little prize purse of $2,000 for first place.
Yeah.
Great prizes here at Tapcoder. It takes some work, but good prizes. All right, so here's one. Does this look familiar to you?
Yes. So this is the basic review scorecard for the code challenges. So basically, when you submit, the reviewers have to go through this and use this. So they review your application or your submission, and they check each of the questions in this, and then they provide an answer, and each answer has a weight. So you can see the weights there that calculate the final score of the review. So you can just review the scorecard if you want to, just to see which points are important, and you can also have a strategy where you can try to focus on the important points, and then try to, maybe if you don't have enough time, you can just skip the minor points. But I always recommend trying to start early. So if you start early, you have all the time to finish everything.
Right.
Everything in there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this one's pretty hefty, but that's what we do at Tapcoder. I mean, I feel like whenever I talk to potential clients or something, they we tell them that they're getting quality code, and we have things like these scorecards to actually make sure that what is being delivered is high quality stuff. So that's the reason we have reviewers and scorecards and things like that.
Yeah.
So we also, in some challenges, utilize GitHub a lot, right? Do you want to explain how that's used, how people access some code that has potentially already been built and they're building on top of that code?
Okay. So usually that's provided in the forums.
Okay.
So when you register for the challenge, if you're building on a previous challenge, the co-pilot will provide, or the PM, that's project manager, will provide the code in the forums. You usually find them in the code documents forum for the challenge itself. So I think if you go to can you open the forum link?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you go back to just the ideation passports, and that one.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the code documents in there. So if you're building on top of the previous challenge, the documents will be in there, and the previous code will be in there, provided by the PM or the co-pilots of the challenge.
Okay. And so the way it would work is that, let's say it's on GitHub. So you would just download the code to your local environment.
Yeah.
And then,
or usually in that case, if it's on GitHub, usually you can request for access to the GitHub if it's a private GitHub repository.
Uh-huh.
You can request for access. I think there's really a thread that's created for users to request access in the document form. So that's in there as well.
Okay, great.
So
All
I mean,
right.
it depends on. I guess it depends on the challenge itself or the copilot. They can provide access to GitHub, or they can provide an archive containing the code itself that you can download to your local system, basically.
Okay, great. So do you have any other tips for new members participating in a challenge? I mean, I know you kind of went over, a large amount of what is required for participating in these types of challenges. But
Yeah.
is there anything else you have?
Yeah. I'm not sure if this still exists, but there used to be the Top Coder software catalog,
Okay.
which had a previous lots of previous challenges built, like solution built. So you could have there was a way you could access that and then check previous code to see, like, because there are some guidelines for developing code on Top Coder. So you could like review the previous challenges and see like code that was submitted. I'm not sure if that's still available now. It's also a good learning experience where you can check previous challenges, you can check previous code submissions, and see how the first and second place, or the first place submissions were completed. And you can always review that code and learn from that as well. So that's one tip. And then obviously you should start early. That's very important. You need to start early because it's very easy to fall into the trap of procrastinating
Mm-hmm.
and then not finishing in time. So you should be able to start early and be able to submit quickly.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of going back on what you said there, I just had it. Sorry. You were talking about, what was the first tip?
That's reviewing your previous code challenges. That's on the software catalog.
Oh, right.
So put that software catalog.
Right. So I know we do at least have it so that when you participate on a challenge, if you have a valid submission, you can see the winner's code.
Yeah.
So, but you were saying something about like a repo almost of like older challenges.
Yes. So that's the software catalog. I'm not sure if it's still available right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if it's available. I've not checked this in a while, so I'm not sure.
And actually, what do you develop?
Yeah. I just lost power.
Oh no.
So yeah.
Oh, we can still see you though. You're lit up by the computer screen. Wow. Okay. Well, we'll make this quick for you. Let me just see if there are any questions in our live event. So, okay, TCO 14 champ from Jesse. Okay. No questions as of yet, but I know. Okay, you have. You're in the first to finish finals. First to finish is pretty easy, right? There is a review process.
It's not easy. He has to finish first, basically. There's a lot of pressure.
There's a lot of pressure for that. So it's pretty much speed coding and getting it right. And like you have to make sure you complete all the requirements.
Yes, and there's a review process. So if the review process is finished and you get everything right, then it finishes at that point. But if you don't get everything right at that point, the next person can submit. And so the next person that submitted is going to get reviewed, and if that person gets it right, that person wins. But you can still submit again, and then you can keep submitting until you get the right, until the review you get everything right, and then the review completes, and you win the contest itself.
Right.
So it's just about finish quickly and do the right thing on time, basically.
Okay. And what draws you to that? Why do you just like the thrill of just coding really fast and
Yeah, I think I like I've always liked solving problems.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like interesting, finding a problem and fixing it, that sort of thing. So I think that's what makes that interesting, very interesting.
I feel like that's kind of like a great step from someone that is competing in algorithm competitions, in SRMs. You were talking about that. You came from that part of
from algorithm.
From algorithm, right? So it's like coding quickly and coding correctly. I think that's a nice step from going from algorithm to like the development track.
I think algorithm is more difficult though. Like it requires a lot of brain power to think.
Yeah.
Solve it. Yeah.
Well, at least you get paid in the first to finish one, so that's kind of nice. Cool. All right. Well, I think that we covered a lot. I think we covered code challenges. We covered first to finish. Assembly is pretty much like a code challenge, right? So we probably don't have to like revisit that completely.
Yeah.
Right. So for those who are new and you're still tuned in, if you go to topcoder.com/challenges, you will see a listing of all of the current challenges that are available. You can filter. As you know, we have design challenges as well, so you can filter just on development if you'd like, and you could see all of the different types of challenges, read through all of the specifications, register, visit the forum, ask questions, submit your submission, and make sure that it's following the scorecard that you had looked at prior to actually submitting to. So I think that was a great detailed explanation of how to participate in Top Coder challenges. I think you got a few tips as well from Akinwale, which is awesome, and you'll be able to check him out at the TCO 17 finals as well. Maybe we'll even have him on the live broadcast too. How do you feel about that? You cool with another interview?
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. All right, Akinwale, I'll let you go. I know your power went out, so I appreciate you staying on this long, and thanks for helping out these new members.
Cool.
All right, so I guess from the US, that's me, Nick Castillo, Top Coder Community Manager. Thank you for joining us today. And Akinwale, you want to say bye to everyone from Nigeria?
Right. Bye. Nigeria, yeah, sure. All right, bye everyone.
All right, thanks for joining. Till next time. See ya.